ah, ah. Ah, ah. Test, test. 1, 2. Hello, everyone. We'll get started shortly. I'm just, yeah, hold on, guys. Yeah, I was just doing singing with my friends in a noraebang, and I totally forgot I have to do this lesson today. So they're gonna take off, and I'm just finishing up this. I'll finish up this stream, and I'll go meet them for dinner later. So how are you guys doing? Hold on, let me turn off the song here. Hold on. All right, guys, how you doing today? Let's just see here. Oh, all right. Yes. So yeah, I came over here to a noraebang, a singing room with some of my friends, and yeah, we're just singing some songs here. It's 2 o'clock, so it's time to start. It's not a furniture store. What are you talking about? This is totally a lounge. This is a fancy, upscale karaoke room in Korea, okay? Hey, Himong. Trust me, that's exactly what I searched for on the royalty-free stock image website. So right now we are here at a noraebang. And nore means song, and bang means room. So literally song room or singing room, but this is what Koreans refer to as a karaoke room. And noraebang, the nice thing about it is that unlike karaoke in the US, where you sing in front of everyone at a restaurant, people you don't know, in a noraebang in Korea, however, it's just whoever you go in the room with. So it could just be yourself, or it could be you and a group of your friends. Typically it's your friends, and you can eat there, you can drink there, you can sing, and you can take as much time as you want, and you pay by the hour usually, sometimes by the person. But lately there's a new type of, I shouldn't say new, it's newer in Korea, and it only started getting popular about 2 or 3 years ago. Oops. Coin, not coin. Totally different word. Coin, noraebang. Coin as in the English word coin. And now these are coin-operated karaoke machines that they have inside of a karaoke room. And typically these are smaller. So while a regular traditional noraebang could seat, say, 6 to 8 people, coin noraebangs are designed just to fit like 2 to 3. I mean, you could cram in like 7 people if they're all standing up, but it's made for like 2 or 3 people to sit down. And you put in $1 and you get like 2 to 3 songs on it. And you just put in how much you want and then you leave when you're done. So it's really nice as a way to just go in by yourself and sing like a few songs for practice with nobody listening, not even your friends, just by yourself. And only spend like $1 or $2 to do it. You don't have to buy any drinks. You don't have to talk to anyone really. You just walk right in, sit down, pay, sing, leave. It's great. So I probably go at least once or twice a week whenever I'm in Korea. Yeah, and these are really popular. Right now, though, this is not a coin noraebang. This is a luxurious, I forgot what they would call this. It'd be like a luxury, like a high-end noraebang. And they have some of these in Korea where it's just like a much bigger room and you get nicer equipment and it's more space for hanging out with your friends. And the machines they have are much higher quality, so they have more songs on them. They'll have more options for each song. Whereas the coin noraebangs are typically a cheaper, smaller machine, so they might not have the version of a song that you want to sing, or they might not have that song at all. Especially like less known, less popular songs, they'll have less of at a coin noraebang. So if there's like a specific song you really want to sing, and maybe it's a foreign song, not from Korea or something, or a Japanese song or whatever, and you go to a coin noraebang, it might not be there. But if you go to a regular noraebang, it probably will be there. They have a lot of stuff at regular ones. So that's the main difference. So coin noraebang is great for when I want to practice by myself, but if I want to show off to my friends, regular noraebang it's bigger, sounds better, more options, And I think it's just more relaxing to be in a big one, in my opinion. Let's see. I want to sing karaoke. I'll beat Billy easily. You know, karaoke is one of my hidden talents. My whole family, with the exception of my older brother, he can't sing at all. The rest of my whole family likes to sing. Actually, here's a little bit of trivia, a little bit of Billy trivia. My parents, when they met, they used to be in a band. They had their own band and they would sing. My dad plays bass, my mom plays piano, and my mom sings. She still sings all the time. And my younger brother all the time sings karaoke. At least twice or 3 times a week, he invites me to karaoke. Probably once a month, I'll go with him. And my older sister is also in a band she's in a couple bands, but she's in one like group that's done some music for video game, I guess. So she does actual music stuff. I didn't inherit any of their singing talent per se, but I do enjoy singing. And I'm not bad, as you can, if you've seen my K-pop, Learn Korean with K-pop video, you should know how excellent of a singer I am. So today we're going to be learning about 2 forms, how to say if and when. These are new markers, by the way, just for you guys. So if and when, there's actually more than one form we're going to be learning today. There's 2 major forms and then 3 or so smaller forms that we're also going to learn. Now the prerequisites for this lesson are simple. You need to know the difference between action and descriptive verbs. So if you're seeing action verb and descriptive verb for the first time, this is not the lesson for you. Today's lesson will be okay for beginners to follow, at least half of it. The other half will be more for intermediates. So if you're an intermediate, don't worry, you'll get a little bit more after we've covered the basic form. There also is a little bit that we'll do, which is advanced territory, but I think it's okay for intermediate people to learn it. But intermediates won't need it until they're an advanced learner, I'll say. So yeah, make sure you know the difference between advanced action and descriptive verbs, as well as make sure you know how to conjugate the yo form regularly. So basically, like, low beginner is the requirement for today's lesson. If you're not at least like a solid low beginner, like you can make some sentences and you can read the alphabet, of course, and conjugate some verbs like that, then if that's you, then you're good. If that's not you yet, if you can only make like random phrases, skip today's lesson because it's going to be above your level. But yes, it's okay for beginners as long as you're at least a low beginner. So before I get started though, I always start a few minutes early just to hang out with you guys and talk before we start the lesson, but I'll start right at 2 o'clock. Why is there a bed in the back? It's not a bed, it's a sofa. You're talking about that? Oh, no, because this is like a fancy lounge. It's like a karaoke lounge in a hotel room. Okay? Yeah, I guess that is a bed over there. It's not a furniture store, though. If I move this, you can see behind there's like a kitchen. It was the best photo of a lounge-looking place I could find on the internet. Come on, give me a break. I'll fight Billy with my singing. If you are in Korea, I will fight you with my singing. Okay? You name the place and time, and I will bring it. 2 o'clock? Let's see. 네가 하면, if you do. Yes, that's right. 네가 하면, if you do it. But they don't write ni. They just say ni. When they write it as 네. 내가. But when they speak, they say this as ni. But you don't write it as ni. That would be wrong. So 네가 is pronounced as ni, but spelled as 내가. However, it's pronounced that way because 네 means you, but also 네 means I. So it used to sound more different in the past, 네 and 네. These days, though, they're pronounced the same way. So to make it easier to understand, 네 and ni. That's just the way that it's pronounced. I'll be in Korea all July. Oh, that's going to be after I leave there. I'll be in Korea for about 3 months during the summer, but I'll be gone before July anyway. I might be doing an immersion program in July. Oh yeah, you'll miss me too. Hey Billy, is 언제 one way to say when? 언제. 언제, yes, that means when. I just discovered rabies? I hope you don't mean that you just got rabies. If so, you're dead. I hope you're talking about something else. I thought you live in Korea. Billy, stay longer so I can fight you. No, I don't live in Korea because I don't want to be in Korea during the winter because it's too cold, or during the heat of the summer because it's too hot. Other than that, I would be happy to be in Korea all the time. So I'm in Korea about a fourth of every year during the nice weather. Let's see. Hey, Billy, do you know French? I took 5 years of French in school, 4 years high school, actually 5.5, and then 1.5, almost 2 in college. But no, I don't actually. It's like a bunch of random stuff, and I can kind of understand what the teachers say, but I can't speak it. Go, Billy, you're a cutie. Thank you. Well, excuse you, Billy. I have to stay in Ohio. Okay, so let's get started now. It's 2 o'clock. I don't want to waste your time. So, first form we're going to be talking about is how to say when in Korea. So, in Korean. So, you take a verb stem. Oh yeah, you should know what a verb stem is. It's just the verb that ends in ta, and you remove the ta. Now you get the verb stem. So, 하다, to do, becomes ha. 먹다, to eat, becomes 먹, like that. So, you take the verb stem and you attach if it ends in a consonant, or you just attach this letter, which is called 리을, if it ends in a vowel, and then you have a space, and then you attach 때. It's the double this letter, 때. So, this means when someone does something, when you do something, when I do something, like that. So, when, do. Now, for an example, let's get a few verbs here. So, let's do 하다, to do, like 공부하다, to study, 사랑하다, to love. You take that, you get the verb stem, which is just ha. The verb stem ha ends in a vowel, so you just attach this letter, 할 때. Easy enough. Let's do another one. Now let's take the verb 먹다, to eat, and we get 먹 as the verb stem. Now 먹 ends in a consonant, 먹, so we attach so 먹을 때, 먹을 때, when I eat, or when you eat. Let's do another one. Let's do 주다, to give, like to give someone something. 주 is the verb stem, ends in a vowel, so 줄 때. Pretty easy. But there are a couple exceptions, so that's what you should learn. The exception, I guess the most common exception, is a descriptive verb that ends with this letter. Now, this is only descriptive verbs, which is why you have to know the difference between an action and a descriptive verb for this lesson. If it's a descriptive verb, to be something, not to do something, to be something, and it ends in this letter, you remove this letter, and instead you attach this syllable, u. And then you'll finish this. So, 때. So I'll show you an example of that. Let's just take a common one, 춥다, to be cold. Now, there are a lot of descriptive verbs that end with this syllable at the verb stem. So, 춥다, to be cold. We get the verb stem, 춥. We're not going to say 추울 때. Instead, it ends with this, so we have to remove this. So now we're left with 추. Now we have to add this syllable, 추우. Now we're done. Now we can add the rest of the conjugation. So in this case, it's always going to be u, so it's always going to end with this. So 추울. So if you have a descriptive verb that ends with this letter, all you have to do is remove that letter and attach 울 때 to the end. But if you don't want to memorize it this way, just remove this letter, attach this, because this type of conjugation applies to descriptive verbs ending in this letter. with a lot of grammar forms, not only this grammar form. In fact, the very next grammar form we're going to learn also has this exact same rule. So this is just a general rule that applies to a lot of grammar forms. Not every grammar form, but a lot of grammar forms. So it's good to learn it. So remove this letter, attach this syllable, and then finish the grammar form and you'll be fine. So 추울 때, when it is cold, or when the weather is cold. Let's do another example with this. Let's say spicy, 맵다, to be spicy. So when it is spicy, I can't think of any sentence you would say when it is spicy. But anyway, when it is spicy, the verb stem, you remove ta. Now you see this ends in here, and it's a descriptive verb, so we remove this. 우 ends in a vowel. 매울 때, when it is spicy. I don't know when you would ever use this, but there you go. There's a lot of descriptive verbs, though, that end in this letter, so it'll be very common. There's another exception, but the other exception we're going to do is pretty easy. If you see a descriptive verb, if you see any verb that ends with this letter, liel, this letter is called liel. If you see any verb that ends in this, let me say that again. If you see any verb that ends with this letter, you simply attach 때. So that's it. So 살다, to live. Now you get 살 as the descriptive verb. I'm sorry, I keep saying descriptive verb. I really like descriptive verbs. So now you get 살 as the verb stem, and you just attach 때. 살 때. So when you live somewhere, maybe when you live in Korea or something like that. When you live in Korea, then you will love Korean food. For example, 팔다, to sell. 팔다, 팔 때, when you sell. So when you sell all of your food, I'll give you a paycheck. Something like that. That's the only other exception with this. There are a few other exceptions for verbs that end in specific letters, but they're not as consistent or they're not as common that I'm not going to bother you with them right now. But you'll learn those later as you go. But there's nothing else complicated. The only one that actually requires something special is the ones that end with this letter. So that's the only one that actually has a lot of special rules. The other ones that might have like a special rule, like, if it ends with this letter, then sometimes you do this and sometimes you do this. These ones are just removing the letter or not. That's it. It's not anything complicated. So this is the only one where you have to actually do something to it, where you actually have to add another sound. The other ones, you simply just remove it or you don't. So don't worry about the other ones. So that's how you conjugate it. That's how you say when, as in the time when you do something. Specifically, before I give you some more examples, I just want to tell you guys that this verb form itself means time, as in when, not just when you do something, but literally the time when you do something. The reason is this 때 is actually a word that means time, as in the time when, not like I have time. That means I have free time. Not saying free time, but just saying the concept of time, as in when something happened. 때, that's what it means. So literally you're saying the time of this verb. So when you do that. So when you go, 가다, to go, 갈 때. So when you go would literally mean the time when you go, the time you go, right? So that's the way I want you guys to think about it, is don't just think that it means the word when, because there are a lot of times when you want to say the word when that would be wrong in Korean. And in fact, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do today's lesson, is not because it's a beginning concept. I've already done lots of beginning concepts, but because this is something that's often messed up by even intermediate Korean speakers. They'll use 때 when they should have used the other form that we're going to learn next, or vice versa. So this does not mean when, it means the time when, the time that you do something. If you think about it like that, you will not make as many mistakes with it. But if you just think of it as translating as when, you'll mess it up a lot. Trust me on this. So let's get some examples then. Let's just check the chat for a moment. Can we have some example sentences, please? Yes, of course. We will be doing example sentences. Yes, of course. Okay, let's see how we are on time. Okay, so the example is, Yeah, let's just do this one. 시간이. Sorry, I just threw this away a few days ago. But it's already like weird. 시간이 있을 때. So now here we have 있다, to exist, or naturally translated as to have. So 시간이 있을 때, literally to exist when time exists, or the time that 시간, as in free time, as in, do you have time right now? Or I don't have any time, like that word time. 시간, 시간이 있을 때, when there is time, the time when time exists. Then you can say something like 전화 means phone call. 주세요. So give me a phone call, or literally call me. Call me at the time when you have time. You have free time. So call me when you have time. There we go. Pretty easy example. Using 있다, to exist. Right? Does not literally mean to have, it means to exist. So literally time exists. So when time exists, call me. So you could say this to your friend who's busy and you really need to talk with them. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm really busy right now. You can say, okay, 시간 있을 때 전화 주세요. Call me at the time when you have time, when you have availability, when you have a gap in your schedule, when you have free time, something like that. 공부할 때, 공부할 때. 공부하다 means to study, so 공부할 때, the time when you study, or when you study, okay, 우리가, so we, 못, can't, 만나요. 공부할 때 우리가 못 만나요. So when I study, or when you study, or something like that, 공부할 때, at the time of studying, 우리가, we cannot meet. 못 만나요. 못 meaning can't. So we cannot meet when I study, or when you study. Like that. So, when you're studying, you're busy, you don't have any free time. So 우리가 공부할 때 우리가 못 만나요. We can't meet when you study. Like that. Or when I study. Literally, when I study, we cannot meet. So let's do another example. Honestly, this form is quite simple. It only gets a little complicated when we try to contrast it with the next form we're going to learn, which I will definitely do for you guys. The next one. 우리, so again, we. 만날 때. We meet when. So the time we meet. 우리 만날 때. The time that we meet, or when we meet. 얘기. 얘기 actually means 이야기, but people don't say 이야기 for when they're talking about talking with someone. For 얘기, sorry. When people would say 이야기하다, as in to have a conversation or talk with someone, more often they'll say 얘기, 얘기하다. It's the same word, it's just a more common spoken version of it. So 우리 만날 때, at the time we meet, 얘기할게요. And if you're not sure, 할게요, I did a different video on it. It's just a I will do form. So I will tell you about it. I will talk with you. I will have a conversation with you at the time when we meet. So 우리 만날 때, the time that we meet, I will tell you. I'll tell you about it when we meet, is what you would say in English. So yeah, don't worry. I'll tell you when we meet. Like, oh, tell me the story. Tell me what happened. I'll tell you when we meet. 우리 만날 때 얘기할게요. When we meet, at the time that we meet, I will tell you. When we actually meet, when it is the time for us to meet, like that. That's the meaning that 때 has. It's the actual time that something happens. And let's do one more. Actually, let's do this again. Okay. 심심하다 means to be bored, like you feel bored. So 심심할 때, at the time you are bored. So at the time when you are bored, 읽어보세요. So 읽어보다 means to read it, just to read it and check it out. So read it through, read it once when you are bored. So here, let me give you this document. Let me give you this document. It's related to blah, blah, blah. I don't know, something. Cheese. How to make cheese. 심심할 때, so when you are bored. 읽어보세요. Here, read it. Check it out when you're bored. At the time when you are bored, check it out. Because I know you're a busy person, but 심심할 때, the time when you are bored, read it. So read it when you're bored is what you would say as you hand over the document about how to make cheese, because it's probably not very interesting. But when you're bored, you can read it when you're bored, right? Okay, these are all the examples I wanted to do for 때. I just wanted to get those out of the way quickly because we have to keep going. We actually have a lot of stuff to do for today's lesson, even though it's quite it seems like it should be quite simple. We still have a lot of stuff to do. Let me just check the chat real quick, make sure we're following. Wait a minute. Did the board didn't flash? Unless it will flash. Shubin, hi from Germany. Sent my first email in Korean only to my professor and she completely understood me. Kind of proud. Thanks for everything, Billy. By the way, do you have any tips on how to find an internship in Korea? Internship in Korea. That would be hard to do an internship in Korea. There are some companies that hire people to do English teaching, but really English teaching is your only chance of doing like regular company work if you're not already living in Korea. That's the easiest way that people can get an in to staying in Korea. There really is no other way unless you work at a startup. So teaching English or startup, you're pretty much restricted to that. You can find lots of startups. There might be a startup that would be willing to host you doing an internship in Korea, but they have to pay money to host your visa. And it might be hard to find a company, but there could be some. So especially if you know some Korean and you're really interested in working with them, then they might be able to offer you something like that. Those would be your only two options though. But thank you, Shubin. Oh, it's a really big donation. $20. But I don't know why the board didn't flash, or at least I didn't see it flash. Did anyone see the board flash? Shubin, thanks for the donation. I'm gonna do a dab for you. Actually, I should do like this. Thanks, Shubin. Okay. No flashing. It didn't flash. Okay, that's weird. Maybe it, oh, I see why. I disconnected it. Okay, that's my fault. When I was moving it earlier, I must have disconnected it. Because I checked and it was disconnected. So that's my fault. Oh. All right, it should work now. I just saw I must have disconnected it when I was moving it and setting it up. Okay. The next form we're going to do is another form that also can mean when, but it's quite different. You take a verb stem and you attach 으면 if it ends in a consonant, or you just attach 면 if it ends in a vowel. That's mostly all there is to it. Now, there are the same exceptions for verbs that end with this. So if a verb ends in this, you first remove that and then you add u. And then you would attach 면. And also verb stems that end with this letter are different. Verb stems that end in this letter, you do not remove it. You simply leave it there. And then you attach 면. That's all there is to it. So, again, descriptive verbs that end with this letter, you attach u, and then it becomes blah, 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 u, 면. And verb stems that end with this letter, any verb stem, action or descriptive, you just attach 면 to the end. You don't have to remove it or do anything else to it. So that's the only rules you have to learn for it. However, this one has a different meaning. This does not mean time. This one actually means hypothetical situation. This is used for talking about a hypothetical situation. Hypothetical. Okay. Yeah. As in like if we do something or when we do something, it doesn't matter. But let's just say that something happens. Something might or might not happen. Might or might not happen. So if you were to say 하다, to do, and make it with this form, you'd get 하면, 하면 could mean hypothetically if we do it, or hypothetically when we do it. It doesn't matter. Hypothetically, let's just say that I do it. That's the meaning that you get when you use this form. And that's what a lot of people confuse. That's what causes a lot of confusion between the other form, which actually means the time you do something. So we'll talk about how they're different next, but first let's just talk about how to use this form. So for hypothetical situations, and let's do a example sentence. So let's do our previous one. So before we had 시간이 있을 때, literally at the time when you have free time. Now let's do 시간이 있으면. So 있다, to exist, ends in a consonant, so you attach 으면. So 시간이 있으면 is hypothetically, let's just say I have time. 시간이 있으면. So let's just say I have time. But in English, we don't say, let's just say that I have time very often. Instead, we would say, if I have time or when I have time. This 면 form can mean either. It just depends, which one you use will just depend on how you're feeling when you're translating it. It might sound more natural to use if sometimes, and it might sound more natural to use when sometimes in English. But the meaning of this form is both if or when, because it actually doesn't matter which one you translate it to. It's just talking about hypothetical situations. So let's just say 시간 있으면. Let's just say if you have time or when you have time, whatever. Then 시간 있으면 전화 주세요. Now, both this sentence and the previous one we did with the other form are completely accurate, but they have a slightly different meaning, which I'll talk about. Actually, I'll talk about that right now. I'll go ahead and tell you what the difference is. So, 시간이 있을 때 and 시간이 있으면 both mean call me if you have time. Or, sorry, call me when you have time. You can think of it like that. 때 cannot mean when. I'm sorry, 때 cannot mean if, but 있으면 can both mean if you have or when you have. So 시간 있을 때 literally means when, literally when, as soon as, once you have time. So look on your clock. Do you have time now? No. 1 hour later. Do you have time now? No. 1 hour later. Do you have time now? Yes. Okay, now call me. 시간이 있을 때, at the time when you have free time. We'll call 시간 free time. Call me, okay? That's what you get. 시간 있을 때, exactly. When you have time, give me a call because you're busy. Maybe you have time exactly at 3:45 p.m. Call me then. That's what this means. At the time when you have free time, call me. 시간이 있으면, however, is hypothetically, let's just say you have time, okay? If you have time, call me when you have time. So hypothetically, let's just say you have time, then call me, okay? I could say, oh, do you have time now? No, I don't have time now. Will you have time after an hour? Yeah, I have time after an hour. It doesn't mean exactly when you have the time. It just means hypothetically when there is time, if there is time. So it's not really an if and it's not really a when. It's kind of both. Just hypothetically, let's just say that you have time, then call me. So this could translate as both. Call me if you have time and call me when you have time. But this one would only translate as call me when you have time. But I want you to know that the meaning is different than just saying when, if, because it's not quite that simple. It is really a hypothetical situation. And you'll see that more as I give you some more comparisons. So I'll give you some more examples of how they're different soon. But let's do another example first. I just kind of wanted you guys to taste how they're different, and then we'll go into a little more detail later. Let's do this. 비가 오면. So 비가 오다 means literally rain comes, but when it rains. So 비가 오면, when or if it rains. So let's just say that it rains. 비가 오면, if it rains, when it rains. However, 추워요 means it's cold. So literally we get hypothetically it rains. It's cold. Well, in this case, it would sound better to translate this as when it rains, it's cold. You could translate it as if it rains, it's cold. If it rains, it's cold. But I think when it rains is cold just sounds a little more natural. So sometimes you might feel like translating this as when or if, depending on the sentence. But in this case, I think when sounds a little more natural. I think it's cold if it rains. It's okay. It's cold when it rains, okay? So hypothetically, it rains. Then it's cold. When it rains, it's cold. Let's do another one. So here I said it would be when, but let's do another sentence. Let's see. 비가 오면, so hypothetically, let's just say it rains. So 밖에, it's mean outside, to the outside, literally. 안 나가요. So I'm not going to go out. 나가다 means to go out. And 안 means not. So hypothetically, let's say that it rains. I'm not going outside. Well, when it rains, I'm not going outside. It sounds a little awkward. If it rains, I'm not going outside. Sounds a little more natural. So in this case, I think it sounds a little more natural to translate it as if, though you might disagree and you might choose when, depending on the context, right? So it can be really both. And there's no way of knowing if you should translate it as if or when until you actually make the sentence and think about, should it be if or should it be when? So that's why it's good to not think about this as just if or just when. I know a lot of people learn this as simply if, but it can mean when just as much as it means if. And it really is just a hypothetical situation. So hypothetically, it rains. I'm not going outside. So let's just say that. This form means, let's just say that. Let's just say it rains. I'm not going outside. And that's a natural translation of what the feeling of this form 면 means. So if you keep that in mind, you won't misuse this form as much. Let's see, how am I on time? I always worry about my time because I have a lot of example sentences, and last time I wasn't able to get through all of them, but this time I want to get through all of them. And we're doing okay so far. It's 2:25. Okay, let me just check the chat for a moment. That little wrench next to my name means I'm a mod. Now you just put that as an emoticon in your name or something. That'd be cool if it was like, if there's an emoticon wrench that you can put in your name and then make people look like, and then make yourself look like a moderator or something. Okay, 시간 있으면 우리 영화를 함께 보고 할 수 있을까? Download Zaidi. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say. I think you're trying to say, can we go see a movie together if you have time? But that's not how you would say it. If you ask me later if I have extra time at the end of the lesson, I can make you that sentence though. So let's talk about in more detail how 때 and 면, how they're different. So let's do two sentences here. Let's say 밥 먹다, literally to eat rice, is just how Korean people say to eat. So just to get something to eat. So 밥 먹, we'll do 먹을 때, and we'll do 밥 먹으면. 밥 먹으면, 밥 먹을 때, 얘기하자. 밥 먹을 때 얘기하자. 밥 먹으면 얘기하자. 얘기하자, as I told before, is to talk. So let's talk. As in, let's have a conversation. 하자, just let's do. So let's do a conversation. Let's do a talking. 먹으면 and 먹을 때. So think about, for yourself, think about the difference between these two forms for a moment. Just kind of think about what would the meaning of these two forms be before I tell you. 밥 먹을 때 얘기하자. 밥 먹으면 얘기하자. Think about what the difference between saying these two sentences would be. Because both of these sentences are correct. Both of these sentences are okay to say, but they have a different meaning. And there are many times when you cannot switch it. But in this case, it's okay to use either form. So I just want you to think, though, if you use either form, they have a different meaning, even though both of these sentences are okay. So think about that for yourself. What could the difference between these two forms be? And which one might you say to your friend? You know, which one might you want to say? So first, I'll just go ahead then. 밥 먹을 때, the time that we eat something, the time that we meet up to eat. 얘기하자. So at the time that we actually meet up to eat, at the time that we're eating, let's talk. So while we're eating, 밥 먹을 때, the time that we eat. So at that time that we eat, let's talk. So while we're eating, num 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 num. Hey, did you hear the go? What? Like that. You're eating and you're talking to each other. It's just okay. You can say that, but it means you're talking while you're eating. So, it's not really going to be with your mouth full, but you're talking while you're eating. You're eating and you're talking. 밥 먹으면, however, is hypothetically, let's just say that we meet up. Let's talk. This does not mean at the time that you're eating. It just means in the situation that you meet. So this could be while you're walking together to go to find out what you want to eat. You're looking at the different stores. You're thinking, different restaurants. You're like, should I go here? You're trying to decide what restaurant to eat at. Or maybe you're sitting down, or maybe you're eating while you're eating. Maybe you finished eating and you've gone off to a cafe. You could still say 밥 먹으면 얘기하자. So if we eat something together, if we eat, let's talk. Or when we eat, let's talk. So this one might be a little bit more natural because you're just saying like 밥 먹으면, like if we eat. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't really think you'd say let's talk when we eat. But whatever. This is just an example, okay? Maybe I can change this to when we meet. 만나면, right? Or 만날 때. Actually, we could do that. Maybe that'll be a little easier to see the difference. Let's change this to 만나면 for meet when we meet. Sorry, 만날 때 when we meet, or 만나면 if or when we eat. So 만날 때 얘기하자 means when we actually meet. So I'm walking down the street and I see you, like you're down at the end and you don't see me, you're talking on your phone. I run up to you. Hey, how's it going? Long time no see. High five. We do high five, give a hug. That is when we meet. The time that we meet. That time, let's talk. Maybe you want to say that. Maybe you don't. You probably don't. You probably mean 만나면. So now we're meeting, like, hey, how are you doing? Nice, long time no see. High five, give a hug. Then you're looking for what to eat, and while you're walking around, you're talking, or maybe after you sit down to eat, you're talking. Maybe later in the evening, that evening, you're still together and you're talking. That's what 만나면 means, because it's just talking about the situation, the hypothetical situation that something happens. 만나면, then if this hypothetical situation is met, then the next part happens. 만날 때, however, is the exact time when something happens. So, in our previous example, 시간이 있을 때, at the exact time when you have free time, give me a call. That's okay to say, right? You want them to call you right when they have free time. So call me when you have free time. But 만날 때 would just mean right when we meet. So both of these are correct, but you probably would want to say 만나면, unless you mean like right when we meet. Like for example, maybe you have, maybe your friend left their identification at your house and you're going to run back to meet them to give them their identification. And they say, hey, give me my identification back, please. 만날 때 줄게요. When we meet, I will give it to you. Like right when we meet. Or when I see you. Or when we go to the convention together, I'll give it to you. Or when we take the bus, I'll give it to you. Whatever like that. And that means right at that time when we do something. If you were to say 만나면, that just means when we meet. So let's just say that we meet, if we meet, and that's okay too. But you have to know what the difference is between them. So let me give you one more example of the differences. This one is actually directly from my own book, but I have yet to come up with a better example so far. So I just like this example. So let's do 결혼하면. This will be A, 결혼하면, and B, 결혼할 때. 결혼하면 and 결혼할 때. A or B. I need you guys to tell me which one is correct with the following sentence. 결혼하면 or 결혼할 때. 결혼하다 is to get married. To marry. So if or when we get married, and then the time we get married. When we get married. 요리 means cooking. 요리를 많이, a lot. 많이 means a lot. It's an adverb. 하고 싶어요. I want to do. Want to, cooking. I want to do a lot of cooking. A or B. 결혼하면 요리를 많이 하고 싶어요. So I want to do a lot of cooking when we get married or if we get married. 결혼할 때 I want to do a lot of cooking when we get married. Which one of these sentences would be correct and why? Or if you already know that, if that's obvious to you, which sentence is wrong and why is it wrong? Tell me that. Which sentence is wrong and specifically why would it be wrong? One of these is absolutely wrong. Grammatically correct, but wrong as in very awkward. Oh, nice. Wow. Carol Lindner. Perfect timing too because people are thinking about this, so I was going to take a break anyway. Carol Lindner, your learning is very fun. Thank you, Carol. I really appreciate it. Let me put your name up here. Carol Lindner. If I see Lind, I think of that the delicious chocolate balls that they sell at the store. They're probably like my favorite chocolates that you could buy at a regular store. Thank you. Oh, I'll give you a dab for that. The karaoke dab. Check. If I could do a dab with the other. It's hard to dab while holding a microphone. Thank you, Carol Lindner. I would sing, but this video would get taken down for copyright infringement. Okay, let me check the chat, see how you guys are doing. Okay, I see a lot of you guys got it. B is wrong. Okay, why? IXUZ07. I think IXUZ07 got it right first. Let's see. Okay, well, as far as the reason why it's wrong, you got it right. Yeah. It's awkward to cook while you're getting married. Yes, Jenny Moon, that's as well, correct as well. Tiffany K-pop, that's right. That's right, you're not going to be cooking in the church. Yes, who cooks during their wedding? Exactly. So, I want to give you this because I like this example personally because it's just funny. There's not a lot of examples that can show you like very clearly why one of these can be wrong. So, grammatically, both of these are okay. 결혼하면, like, let's just say that we get married. So if or when we get married, 요리를 많이 하고 싶어요. Maybe, you're saying like, I don't cook, but when we get married, I'm going to cook a lot, right? I'll cook for you every day, right? It's a lie. He's not going to do it. It's just to get you to marry him. But anyway, 결혼할 때, however, is the time that we get married. So when we get married, I want to cook a lot. That's what we might say in English, right? Oh, when I get married, I want to do a lot of cooking. Or when I get married, I want to buy a house. But no, you mean if you said 결혼할 때, I want to buy a house. When I get married, I want to buy a house. You're still in the church. You still got your clothes on. You've got your tuxedo and she's got your dress. And you're like phone calling your realtor and like signing an offer on a house. So no, 결혼할 때 would be ridiculous unless you're going to be cooking for your guests like in your tuxedo. I mean, maybe you're going to do like a teppanyaki show. Like, fling the shrimp into your pocket or something like that in front of all your wedding guests. Maybe that's your dream wedding. I don't know. I won't judge you. If so, go ahead and use this. Otherwise, it's going to sound awkward to people to say 결혼할 때. In fact, 할 때, this 때 form is the one you really have to be careful when you're using. The 면 you can usually get away with. The 면 form is harder to misuse because it can mean both. It's just a hypothetical, like let's just say that something happens. It's not talking about the exact time that something happens. So you can get in trouble by using te if you misuse it. So be careful about that. But that was just kind of a funny example to show you guys. Make sure you know what you're doing. In my case though, I do a lot of cooking, but let's erase that. Okay. But I did not do any cooking in a tuxedo. A case means hypothetical. Yes, that's right, hypothetical. Because you're saying, let's just say that we get married. Then I'm going to do a lot of cooking. There is no way to say like, oh, well, necessarily around when we get married, around that time. You don't say that in Korean. If you want to say when, you would be talking about the exact time that something happens. If you want to say something that's not the exact time, then you have to use 면 because it's just a hypothetical situation, right? You don't know exactly whether you're going to do it or not. Yeah, 면 can mean both. That's right. Okay, so let's see how are we on time. 2:30. All right, great, cool. We're doing good. Okay, let's do some more examples. So that's the basics of this form, but we're not done. I have a few more forms I want to cover, but before we do those other forms, let's give you guys some more examples. So until 3 o'clock, we're going to do some examples. So it's not going to be that much time. Let's do this one. 제가 어렸을 때. 어렸을 때. Now, this form, 때, can be used not only with the present tense verb, but also with a past tense verb form. So, 어리다 means to be young. So that's where you get the word 어린이, like a child. It actually means a young person. So 어리다 means to be young. In past tense, that's 어렸다, 어렸다, 어렸어요. I was young, like that. So you can also use this 때 form on a past tense verb stem. Now this is more for intermediates. Beginners won't be able to do past tense very well like this anyway. But 어렸을 때 literally means the time when I was young. So if you're talking about the past tense, and you want to say when I was a kid, you have to use 때. Because you can't say 제가 어렸으면. That would make no sense, right? Now, since I've taught you guys the literal meanings of these forms, this should make sense to you. But if you had just learned it as 때 means when and 으면 means if or when, you would have no clue why now you cannot use 면 with past tense. But hopefully you can see here why. You cannot hypothetically were young. You were young, right? You're talking about when you were young. You could not say 제가 어렸으면. That would mean like, let's just say that I was young. If I was young, when I was young, it would make no sense because it's hypothetical. You were young, right? I mean, you weren't born old. You're not like the crypt keeper or something like that. 어렸을 때, the time when I was young. So you have to use 때 when you're using a past tense verb, or it logically wouldn't even make any sense. So yeah, hopefully though this should make sense now that you're seeing it. But to someone else who didn't learn it this way, they might think, why? Why can't I use 면? And I see a lot of people say 어렸으면 or something like that, and that makes no sense. You can use 면 if it's a hypothetical situation, even if it's past tense. But if you're talking about the time when something happens, it has to mean 때, because it's not hypothetically if I was younger. It's I was younger. And this at that time I was younger. So what happened? Well, 미국, so America에서, in America, 살았어요. 살았어요. So I lived, you can do 에 or 에서 for 살다, right? It's optional if you use the 서. So 미국에 살았어요 or 미국에서 살았어요. Exact same thing. 제가 어렸을 때, the time when I was young, 미국에 살았어요. I lived in America when I was young. There we go. I lived in America at the time when I was young. Let's do another one. 작년. 작년 means last year. 작년, so 작년에, so in last year. The A is in last year. 우리가, so us. 우리가 안 만났으면. So here, this is a little more complicated. So this is more of an intermediate sentence. So if you're a beginner and you're seeing this, don't worry if you can't understand it. 작년에 우리가 안 만났으면, literally, let's just say we did not. So 만나다, past tense, 만났어요, right? So 만났다 is the 만났다 is the regular dictionary form of the past tense. So we get the stem is 만났, like that, ending with these. So we attach 으면, so 만났으면, literally by itself would just mean if, or hypothetically, let's just say that we met. So here it's 안, so didn't, did not. So let's just hypothetically say that we did not meet. 우리가, we, 안, did not, 만났으면, met. Let's say if we did not meet. Hypothetically, let's just say that we did not meet last year. Does this make sense? So this is what we've got so far. So let's just say we didn't meet last year. 작년에 우리가 안 만났으면, if we didn't meet last year, is how you can translate this naturally. But the meaning is, hypothetically, let's just say we didn't meet last year. Then, 아직 is yet or still. If it's a negative sentence, it'll be yet. If it's a positive sentence, it'll be still. Like, I still like you. I didn't eat it yet. Still or yet. Both of those words. It's an adverb. So 아직, 결혼. So now we have marriage again. 결혼. Let's do this one. 안. So again, did not. 했을 거예요. 했을. Let's see. Can you guys see if I go down? Okay. Yeah, you can. 거예요. So again, this is an intermediate level sentence. So if you're a beginner, this will be very complicated because it uses other forms. So let's just say we didn't meet last year. Then, yet or still, 결혼, get married. 안 하다. 안 하다 means to not do. So here we did not. Literally, we did not will get married. Past tense 했을 거예요 literally means would not have. So the past tense with this, so past tense of the verb stem here with ending in this, and then with the future tense 거예요. So 것이다, like 할 거예요, same thing but with past tense, means would have. This is a regular grammar form. You can go ahead and write this down. Just a regular literal grammar form that means would have. Last week we talked about how to use tende. That would be like an assumption. So like, hey, well, I assume we would have gotten married yet, or I assume we would have gotten married. You could say that too. But this is just a straightforward would have meaning. So here, would not have, since we have an. So would not have gotten married yet. So we would not have married yet if, let's just say that we didn't meet last year. So last year, 작년에 we 안 만났으면, let's just say we didn't meet. 아직, still or yet, 결혼을 안 했을 거예요. Would not have gotten married. Literally, did not, would, will get married. Because this future tense can also mean would, as you will learn later on anyway. So if we didn't meet last year, we wouldn't have gotten married yet. This is a very natural, well, it's a long sentence, but it's okay. And it's definitely intermediate level. So hopefully this can make sense to you. If you're confused about it, just focus on the first part up to 만났으면. You don't have to worry about the next part if you haven't learned it yet. But at least learn this part. 우리가 안 만났으면. So hypothetically, let's just say that we didn't meet. Then what would happen if we didn't meet? Well, in this case, 아직 결혼을 안 했을 거예요. I wouldn't have gotten married yet. Right? So maybe you're saying, oh, if we didn't meet, I wouldn't have gotten married. And I'm so glad to have met you, or something like that you want to say. Hopefully I'm not going too fast, but I do want to get a lot of sentences in. I think it's good to see this one in a lot of examples to really get the hang of it. Let's do another sentence. This one's for all of you K-pop fans. BTS를 정말, so really, 정말 really, 좋아하면, tell me what this sentence means. 좋아하면 한국어, so 한국어 means Korean, 배우세요. 배우세요 means to learn. Well, 배우세요 means learn. BTS를 정말 좋아하면 한국어를 배우세요. What does this sentence mean in English? Who can translate this one? Let's just see here. Ahimang just left. Yes. If you like BTS, please learn Korean. Yes, that's right. If you really like BTS, you would learn Korean. Yep. If you like BTS for reals, then learn Korean. That's right. That's what this means. So this, remember though, this does not literally mean if you like BTS. Remember the 면 is hypothetical. So hypothetically, let's just say that you like BTS. Then learn Korean. So if you really like BTS, learn Korean. That's what it means. Okay, so in this case, actually, let me show you something. You would not be able to say 할 때, although I don't think you would try to do this, because 할 때 would literally mean when, so when you like BTS, and this would make no sense to say BTS를 정말 좋아할 때. That would be like the time when you like BTS, or when you like BTS, which doesn't even make sense in English. So I wouldn't worry about you misusing this. The next form, let's do 오늘, today, 학교, so school, 학교로, to school, 오늘 학교로 가면, 버스를, so a bus, 타고 갈 거예요. I'll break this down. This is another intermediate level sentence. 오늘 학교로 가면 버스를 타고 갈 거예요. So, 타고 가다. Let's talk about this. 타고 가다. Literally means is a combination of 타다. 타다 means to get on, like to ride. 고 is and. Go. So this is how you say, I'm going to take something when you're going somewhere. Like I'm going to take a car, I'm going to take a bus, I'm going to take a taxi, take a train. I'm going to ride a car and go there. I'm going to get on a bus and go there. I'm going to take a bus is how you would say. Take. They say ride as in get on and then go. Oh, I got a donation. Let me check it out. Let's see who it is. Whoa. Today's like monster donation day. None your business. You did a monster donation the other time too, I remember. None your business. None your business. All right, you spelled business the correct way, so that's easy, right? Thank you so much for doing these streams. They are very helpful and fun, and I always have a good time watching. Thank you, None Your Business. Hold on, let me do a song for you. Oh, I think you broke the board. Hold on, let me first fix the board lights. Okay, there we go. Board lights always break. I swear. None Your Business. Thank you for the donation. And let me just do a dab for you here. I know you can still see my face, so it's not a proper dab, but I'm holding the microphone. So thank you again. Someone asked, what does 로 mean? 로 is to or toward. It's actually 으로 after a consonant or 로 after a vowel. It means toward, to, and it's only used with verbs that show direction, that show movement, such as 가다, to go, or come, or leave, or something like that, or ride. It's only for motion, but it means to. So today, to school, 가면. So if you go to school today, or when you go to school today, or literally, 가면 is hypothetically, let's just say that you go to school today, then 버스, or it could be hypothetically, let's say I go to school today, right? 버스, just mean bus. 타고 갈 거예요. I will take a bus. So if I go to school today, I'm going to take a bus. When I go to school today, I'll take a bus. Like that. But it's not when, as in the actual time when I go to school today. It's going to be, let's just say hypothetically, I go to school today. 오늘 학교로 가면 버스를 타고 갈 거예요. Today, when I go to school, today, if I go to school, hypothetically, let's just say that I go to school today, I'm going to take the bus. That's what we get. Seriously, I only got 3 donations today, but they've all been really big. It's pretty cool. Let's do the next sentence. See how are we doing on time? Okay, good. Perfect, right on time. Okay, I have one more quiz for you guys. Tell me which one of these is wrong and why. 졸업하면, 졸업 means graduate. So graduate, 졸업하다. So 졸업하면 or 졸업할 때. 졸업할 때. Then what the sentence is, 알바. Alba is like German for Arbeit, I mean part-time job. Oh, I got another donation. Let me just finish writing this really quick and then let you guys figure out how to write this yourself. 하고 싶어요. Okay. Which one of these sentences is wrong and why? A, 졸업하면 graduate, 졸업할 때 알바를 하고 싶어요. Literally, I want to do or I want to work a part-time job. So I want to work a part-time job when I graduate. Which one is wrong and why? Let me check the donation. Wow, dang. Carol. Carol, hey again. I just saw you in here earlier. I mean, I saw your donation on the screen earlier. Let me double that. You already gave 10. So now you've given 20. So now 3 people, I have 3 donations and they're all for $20. It's pretty cool. This is the largest donations I've gotten ever in a row. So while you guys are thinking about that, let me just do a dab. Okay. Thank you again to Carol Lintner for the donation. Here's another dab. Now let's see what you guys got. Okay, so 졸업하면 or 졸업할 때. That would be really annoying if I keep this on the whole time. Oops. Okay. Let's see what you guys got. B is wrong. B would not work at the exact time you graduate. That's right. Yes. If I graduate, I want to do this. Yes, B is wrong. You guys got it. That's true. Carol did euros, which are even more than dollars. But Shubin also did euros too. Okay, you guys got it. Yes, B would be wrong. B would be wrong because if you were to say, I want to get a job when I graduate, and you said 때, it means like you're wearing your graduation uniform, like you've got your hat and the song, do, 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 is still playing. Maybe you just shook the vice principal's hand or whatever, and then you start working a part-time job, like being the vice principal's assistant or something like that. No, B is wrong. B is wrong. You would say 졸업하면 because you're saying like, let's just say that I graduate. So it doesn't mean, when you're saying hypothetically, let's just say, it doesn't mean you think it's not going to happen. It just means like, let's just say that I graduate. It doesn't mean I don't think I'm going to graduate, but let's just say I do. It's like, no. Let's just say that I graduate, okay? So I'm not saying I'm not going to. I'm just saying, hypothetically, let's just say that I do. Then I want to do a part-time job. It's not at the time that I graduate. So yeah, you wouldn't want to use B. B would be wrong. But funny. You like quickly take off your robes and run over to the Starbucks, and then all the graduating students go there to celebrate with their parents or whatever, and you're like serving people. It's what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to do this. Okay. This is for intermediate people. So now we are out of the beginning level. Now we're going to go into the intermediate. So now you take, this is another form that you can use, and this is a stronger if. This form only means if. This form cannot translate as this form cannot translate as when. It is a strong if. Stronger hypothetical if. So this one is more like the meaning of if I go, if I graduate, if you really like BTS. That's what this meaning is. Other than that, you can use it exactly like the myeon form, but only to mean if, and it's stronger. So it's more emphasis, and you make it by taking the plain form. So 하다 would become 한다, right? And etc. And then you attach myeon. Another example, 가다 would become 간다. 먹다, to eat, would become 먹는다. 살다, to live, would become 산다. 이다, to be, just doing a bunch of these really quick. 이다, to be, would become, normally would just become 이다, but in here, there's an exception. So I'm going to teach you 2 exceptions. Hold on one second. Let's just check. I got another donation. Lynn Barsh. Lynn Barsh. Awesome. Lynn Barsh throwing out the giant donation too. $10. Wow. Lynn Barsh. 10. Oh, let's see. Let's read this. Dabless donation, please. Dabless donation, please. She doesn't want to dab, but thanks for all your hard work. I really enjoy your Sunday live streams. Thank you. I appreciate you coming. Thank you again to Lynn for the very nice donation. I will not do a dab. I will just imagine myself doing a dab. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Operation Get Billy Rich by the end of the night. Yeah, I wish. Okay, so we've got an exception though for ida, to be. It does not become ida. It actually becomes e after a consonant. Let me just write this really quick. I got another donation. ira, or e after a consonant. So ira after a consonant, or just la after a vowel. And anida becomes, to not be, anida to not be becomes anida. So you get ira면 or anira면. That's the only exceptions to this. Well, I just got another donation. Let me check. Who's that? Carol Lintner. Carol, you're trying to. Carol's got the top list now. She's got the top score. Oh, I gotta mark that. Top score gets a red star here. It's not red as in bad. It's I'm not writing your name with it. It's just red as in like fancy. You know, in North Korea, red is like the fancy color. That would be like purple in some other parts. Thank you, Carol. Wow, hold on. Get here. Carol has topped the scoreboard now. No, not scoreboard. Carol has topped with the $30 total donation. Just going to do one more dab here. Thank you, Carol. I should just keep this microphone like right next to you. I was unaware that I was living in a grass hut from 2012 and I'm incapable of liking things. What are you talking about? I must have missed something. Okay. So that's the only exceptions you need to know, that ida to be becomes ira and anida to not be becomes anira. Every other verb is just the plain form as normal. And this exception with ida becoming ira is not unusual. You'll see many grammar forms that use the plain form, but then in that example, ida will become ira and anida will become anira. It's just something to memorize, that ida typically becomes ira in grammar forms that use the plain form. But by itself, in the plain form, ida is just ida, and anida is just anida. So it's the same as quotes. When you make quotes and use the plain form also, there's a few other forms. So anyway, you just take the plain form, you attach 면, and now you get the meaning of if you do something. So let me give you an example of that. Let's see, how are we on time? We have 3 o'clock. Okay. So I got 15 minutes to do 5 example sentences. So if you were to say something like 시간, so now we have free time again, time. 시간이 있으면 would just mean if you have time. So, or let's just say you have time. But now if we were to say 시간이 있다, so 있다 is the plain form of 있다, to exist. It's just 있다. 있다면, this means if, my voice cracked. Am I like going through puberty again? 시간이 있다면, if you have time. If you have time. I don't think you do, but let's just say if you have time, then whatever, give me a call. So using this is like saying, I really don't think you have time, but if you do, hypothetically, if you have time, call me, or whatever you want to say. So that's the difference. It's just stronger. Whereas 시간이 있으면 is like, let's just say you have time, then give me a call. If you have time, when you have time, whatever. So this is more of a strong if. So let's do an example of that. 한국 사람이라면, 한국 사람 meaning Korean person, and now we have 이라, remember? 이라 for ida, to be. So if you are a Korean person, if you are Korean, it's 이라면 because it comes after a consonant. If it were just after a vowel, it would just be 라면. 라면. 한국 사람이라면 김치를 not like Korean, but let's say 만들 수 있을 거예요. 만들 수 있다 meaning you can make. 만들 수 있을 거예요. You will be able to make kimchi. If you're a Korean, you will be able to make kimchi. If you are a Korean. So, I know not every Korean person can make kimchi, but a lot of Koreans, you'd be surprised. A lot of Koreans know how to make kimchi. It's just kind of like a thing. Not even if they don't like it. Being able to make kimchi is just like I don't know, it's kind of like knowing how to go camping or something. I don't know, like, or swimming. I guess that might be a good example. A lot of American people, we learn how to do swimming in school, but I met a lot of Koreans who didn't learn how to do swimming in school. And it surprised me. I'm like, swimming? That's like a basic skill. A lot of people just don't learn it. So 한국 사람이라면, so if you're Korean, 김치를 만들 수 있을 거예요. You will be able to, 있을 거예요. You will be able to make kimchi if you are a Korean. I am not a Korean though, but I can make kimchi. My kimchi tastes pretty dang good. But I'm sure if I was a Korean, And if I did it more often, it would be much better. So let's go back to one of our previous examples. BTS를 정말 좋아하면. Remember? 정말 좋아. Now, the plain form of 좋아하다 to like is 좋아한다. 좋아한다면. So if you really like BTS, now, this is the meaning we get. Not like, let's just say if you like BTS, let's just say you like BTS, learn Korean. Now we have, if you really like BTS, learn Korean. 한국어를 배우세요. If you really like BTS. If you like BTS. Right? That's the meaning we get now. A 희망. BTS를 정말 좋아한다면 한국어를 배우세요. Okay. Let's do another one related to that. 한국어를 배우다 would mean to learn Korean. So 배우다 becomes 배운다 in the plain form. 배운다면. So if you learn Korean, 한국어를 배운다면, if you learn Korean, then you will do well. 잘 할 거예요. Or 잘 할 것 같아요. I think you will do well. Or whatever you want to say. If you were to learn Korean, you would do well. 잘하다 just means to do well. It's written like this typically without a space when it's talking about a skill. 잘 할 거예요. So if you were to learn Korean, you'll do well. So maybe it's you're going to take a Korean test and you don't speak any Korean and you say, teacher, how can I do well on this test? And the teacher tells you, well, duh, 한국어를 배운다면 잘할 거예요. If you learn Korean, you'll do well. And you're like, gee, thanks. Not. Let's do another one. 오늘 날씨가, so today, the weather, 날씨 meaning weather. 오늘 날씨가 춥다면. So 춥다 to be cold in plain form, like all descriptive verbs, are just their regular form. So 춥다 is just 춥다. 춥다면. So if today is cold, this is our previous sentence. 밖에 안 나가요. So I am not going outside. 밖에 outside. 안 not 나가요. Going out. I'm not going outside if the weather today is cold. So if it's cold, I'm not going outside. I want to go outside, but if it's cold, I'm not going to go outside. Let's just say if it's cold, I'm just going to stay inside today. So you can use it just like that. That's pretty much all there is to it. Now, this is in an intermediate form, and I would not recommend learning or using this. That's not true. You can learn it. I would not recommend using this form unless you're an intermediate. But at least now you'll know what it is. So if you see it and you say, oh, it looks like the regular 면 form, but it has that ta before it or something. That's all it is. It's just a much stronger if form. Before I go further, let me just check the chat for a moment. I'm actually doing okay on time. So is this what you would use if you had an if-then structure? You could, none your business. You could use this, or you could just use the regular 면 form. This is if you just want to emphasize the meaning of if. But you don't need to use this form if you just want to say if, because as we learned, you can use the regular 면 form to say if or when, like that. So it's just for emphasis. 밖에 안 나가요. Yep. All right. Let's go on. Another thing you might see. This is not a new grammar form. This is a adjective. Now, 만약에 sometimes comes at the beginning of a sentence. Specifically, it's only for sentences that have the meaning of if in them. So if you see any sentence that has 면, whether that's 면 or by itself or 다면, the strong version that we just learned, now if you have 만약, it can only mean if. This adds emphasis to the sentence. So if this adds emphasis to the sentence, and the previous form we learned, 다면, also adds emphasis to the sentence, then what's the deal? Like, which one do we use? This 만약 form is often used together with 다면. So you'll see 만약에 blah 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 or 만약, this a is optional, used together with this form 다면, exactly the same as if you were to not use it in a sentence. You'll also see 만약에 or 만약 used just with the 면 form, exactly the same way as if it wasn't used with the 면 form. However, if you use 만약, you must use 면 or 다면. 만약 will not go in a sentence that has a different form. Like you won't say 만약에 something 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 when you do something, or I like this, or anything else. It has to be with an if sentence. So in a sentence that has 만약 or 만약에, you will always see 면. So that's something to be careful. Sometimes I see people using 만약에 and they think 만약에 means if, and then they make the rest of the sentence like, let's say, if I go to school, people might say incorrectly, 만약에 학교에 가요. Like, 만약에 학교에 가요 just means, let's just say if I do go to school. Like, it sounds really awkward. And you have to use it with 면. So, 만약에 학교에 가면. Finally, that's warm enough to drink. It was like boiling for a whole hour. Okay. So 만약에 will always come together with a 면, and it adds just more emphasis. And what it also does is, who here knows Spanish? Who here can speak Spanish? Is it like this? You know what I'm talking about. At the beginning, so at the beginning of a sentence in Spanish, you know how they have that upside down exclamation mark in Spanish at the beginning of a sentence, and then they also end the sentence with an exclamation mark? I don't speak Spanish, but my guess is that they do that so that when you see that at the beginning of the sentence, you know that the sentence is a question before you even have to get to the end. Now, if you have this at the beginning, you're always still going to have this question mark at the end, right? You wouldn't just have a question mark at the beginning and then a period at the end of the sentence. You would have the exclamation at the beginning and at the end. And that lets the reader know that it's a question before they even have to get to the question, right? Sometimes you have a really long sentence and you don't know it's a question until you get to the end and you're reading it out loud and suddenly you have to like raise your intonation so it sounds like a question. This is what 만약에 does. It lets the reader know at the beginning of a sentence that what you're asking is a if sentence. So you say 만약에. Now they know you're going to use if. It's going to be an if sentence, like 만약에. Let's just say, okay? Let's just say that. And now you know, oh, an if sentence is coming. Like he's not just going to say 만약에 and then say something. He's going to ask a question. He's going to say some sort of if sentence. That's what 만약에 does. It adds that emphasis of the sentence having an if meaning at the very beginning of a sentence so that the listener knows right away you're going to ask an if sentence. And kind of like how this question mark lets you know it's going to be a question. So that's just kind of a comparison I wanted to make. So it's completely optional, 만약에, whether you use it or not. But if you do use it, you have to use it with 면. So it could be 면 or 다면. So you can make the exact same sentences from before. 만약에 or 만약. I think 만약에 is a little more common than 만약, but you'll see both. 시간이 있다면 전화 주세요. So 만약에, so now as soon as I hear this in a sentence, the listener or whoever's listening is going to know, oh, it's an if. So if, 만약에, if 시간이 있다면. So like if you have time. 만약에 시간이 있다면. So like if you have time, I know you're a busy man or busy woman. If you have time, give me a call. That's what it means. So then this 만약 just shows emphasis right away that it's going to have an if in it. You can also use it for asking someone like, what would you do if the world were going to end tomorrow? 만약에? Whatever. Then they would know as soon as they hear 만약, they're like, oh, they're going to ask something that has to do with if, right? And they can know right at the beginning of the sentence that's what you're going to talk about. Esto es un problema. Billy, do you know Spanish as well? No, I don't know Spanish. 만약에, let's assume. Tiffany K-pop, I'd be careful translating it because if you were to say let's assume, then you might make the rest of the sentence different. It's just better to learn that it's an emphasis on the meaning of if and to make sure you still use the grammar for if in your sentence. But it's okay to think about however you'd like. That's fine to think about it that way as long as you know how to use it. So you can think about it like, let's just say that, or what if would be a good way to translate it. I apologize on behalf of Billy for screwing up your language. You know, I'm actually half Hispanic, believe it or not. I don't tell that to everyone. I'm actually half Hispanic. My grandma's from Mexico, and my grandpa on my dad's side is from Basque. I don't even know if I'm saying that country right. You know, the little country next to Spain. Yeah, so I am half Hispanic, and I do not know Spanish. I can say like the alphabet. I can say like vámonos because I watched Dora the Explorer. I can say backpack, 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 backpack. You know, just the basic Spanish phrases. Swiper, no swiping. But yeah, I can't speak Spanish, so I apologize for my pronunciation. But you should understand what I'm talking about at least. So let's go on to the next part. So we got 만약에 now. Now let's do the next part that we're going to do. This is another intermediate form. It's the same conjugation as 때, but now we have, actually let me write this down here so I have more room. 때, what am I doing? 마다. This is just a common ending that you might see together with 때. This is not a new grammar form. This is the same grammar form as 때, when. But now, as in the time when. But now we have every or each. 마다 is a ending that you can stick onto a noun. So 마다, so some noun plus 마다 means every or each of that noun. So 때마다 literally means each and every or each or every time. Each or every time that someone does something. Each time I go to the store. Every time I see my friend. Every time I study Korean. Every time you read a book. Every time you clap, you save Tinkerbell. You know, something like that. This is an every time. So this is not a new grammar form, but this is a grammar construction that you will frequently see used together with 때. And there's some others, but this is just one of them I wanted to give you for today. And this is also intermediate. So let me give you an example of this. I was just joking about Spanish. So I do know some basic phrases just because I live in Southern California. And everyone in Southern California, we know like basic Spanish, like really basic Spanish. Of course, you know, hasta la vista and all that stuff too. But, you know, basic Spanish is okay. You know, numbers, colors, locations, some basic grammar, a few verbs, stuff like that. Okay, 영화. So this movie. So let's say every time I watch this movie, it's so much fun. 이 영화를 보다, to see. So now we have 볼 때. I should probably write this in the next line. That way I don't have to. 볼 때. Literally just mean when I watch this movie or the time when I watch this movie. But now we have every time I watch this movie. 이 영화를 볼 때마다. Every time I watch this movie, you could say, oh, I fall asleep. Or in our example, we're going to say it's so much fun. 너무 재미있어요. 이 영화를 볼 때마다, each time I watch this movie, it's so much fun. 너무 재밌어요. It's so entertaining, so fun. 이 영화를 볼 때마다 너무 재밌어요. And I keep watching this movie, and every time I watch it, 마다, each or every. Each time, every time I watch this movie, it's so much fun. Every time I watch Psych, I get happy. Yeah, you can say that too. I'm Germany and Dora teaches English. Yeah, I looked that up on the internet. Apparently, every country teaches English except except Hindi teaches, the Hindi version teaches another language, and the Turkish version also teaches another language too. But every other language version of Torah, she teaches English. I looked it up on Wikipedia. I was bored. It was actually just last week I looked it up. It's a few days ago. Okay. Every time I watch Psych, I never watched Psych. I used to watch The Mentalist when that was on, but it got really boring after like season 3. But yeah, I used to watch that. It was kind of like the non-comedy version of Psych, I heard. No, Korean. Yeah, Korean Dora. There's also Korean Dora as well. And she teaches English in the Korean version of Dora the Explorer. Let's see. But yeah, I never watched Psych myself. I just heard about it because one of my best friends, she really liked Psych. And she told me about it sometimes. Okay, now we have a grammar form for advanced people. We have 2 grammar forms for those of you who are advanced level. And we're just waiting in the chat, hoping that I would do something advanced today. This is advanced. So if you're a beginner, you can just like switch off your brains now. The conjugation of this is the same as when you're doing ttae. Now, this is a advanced only form. So please do not go around using this if you are not able to back it up by speaking fluent Korean. If you were a beginner and you throw out this grammar form, it might sound a bit awkward to be matched with a beginner sounding sentence. This form is only for advanced people. So like I said again, if you use this sentence, you better be able to back it up with your Korean speaking or it'll sound awkward. But at least you can learn it if you're intermediate. You can learn it so you'll recognize it. 무렵, 무렵. Conjugated the same way as ttae, same rules and everything. So 무렵. In order to do it, all you do is you take a verb stem and attach or lir, just like before, as well as the verb stems that are descriptive verbs ending with the biup, ending with this letter. Same thing as before. This, however, it has a different meaning. It doesn't mean the time when. So 무렵 actually means time, just like ttae. However, it's around the time. So it's not the exact time that you do something. It's not the exact time something happens. It literally means around that time. So about, around the time when something happens. There's another version of this form, which is what we'll also learn. Actually, let me just first finish this one, then I'll tell you that one. Okay, the problem with this one, though, is it's not that common. However, you will see it. I won't say it's rare. It's not rare. It's just less common than ttae. You'll hear ttae all the time. You will not hear 무렵 all the time. But it's okay. It's just less common. So don't think like, oh, I want to say around the time when. I'm just going to say this. Nah, it's not as common as it sounds in English. So it's not that common. It's also slightly formal. It's not super formal, but it is a little bit formal, fancy sounding. So you wouldn't use it typically with your friends so much. It's more for formal or polite, regular situations like that. Also, it's usually written more than it's spoken, but it can be spoken too. It's just written more than it's spoken, but it's still okay to use. So feel free to use it, but just know that this is less common, sounds a bit more formal, and it's usually written. So let me give you an example sentence with 무렵. Again, this is advanced. So if you're a beginner and you're like, what's Billy doing? Because that's what beginners talk, that's what they talk like. Oh no, Billy, what are you gonna do? That's like Mickey Mouse. I don't want to talk like Mickey Mouse, so I'm gonna get like this whole video taken down for copyright. Your ad revenue is mine. Okay. So, let's do this. 해지다. 해지다 means the sun sets. 해가 지다. So 해지다 would become 질, 무렵. So 해 is sun, 지다 is to set, around the time when. So when the sun is going down, around when the sun sets. 출발할게요. 출발할게요. So I will depart. 출발하다 is to depart. 할게 is like I will. I'll do that for you. So I will, just I'll depart around when the sun sets. So once the sun has set, I'll depart. is what this means. So it's slightly formal sounding. It's not formal, but it's slightly more fancy sounding and a little bit less common. But yes, around when the sun sets, I will depart is what the sentence means. There is another option. If you want to say around the time when, but you don't want to sound a little bit formal or fancy and you want something a little more common, you can just use 때 plus 좀. 좀 is another word that also means around or approximately. Like you can use it, for example, saying like 한 시간쯤, about 1 hour, approximately 1 hour. Approximately the time when you do something. Just like before, just with the regular verb stem, just like we learned before to say 때, you just add 좀, and now you get a similar meaning around the time when or approximately the time when. So 할 때쯤, 할 때, when I do it, 할 때쯤, around when I do it. That's the meaning you get. It's not the exact same meaning as 무렵. 무렵 is more like around that time, give or take a bit. And 쯤 is just approximately the time. So it's slightly different connotation, but similar meaning and similar usage. But 때쯤 is more, it's less formal. So it's more like informal, more casual sounding. It's not casual though, but it's more casual sounding than 무렵 and more commonly used. So either one are okay. 때쯤 is more of an intermediate form. 무렵 is definitely an advanced form. I wouldn't expect to ever hear intermediates use or know of this form. But now if you know of this, congratulations, you know some advanced Korean. And we've got one more form I want to do. Okay, this form is a little more rare, but it's still commonly used. And this one also is conjugated the same way as 때. So just like 때, however, instead you add 시. Now, 시 actually comes from Chinese. 시 is actually 한자. Let's see if I can do this correct. I haven't done 한자 in a long time. I mean, I don't write 한자. So yeah, there we go. 시, this is the 한자 for 시, and it means time. So literally, this has the same meaning as 때, literally. But it's not used in the same way as 때. This is a 한자 word. So because it's a 한자 word, because it's from Chinese, it has a very formal sounding, it sounds very formal, I'll say. So you would not use this in speech even. It's just used in writing. You'll only see this used in writing. Specifically, where will you see this form? You won't see this used in books, even. By writing, I mean you'll see it as like signs, advertisements, flyers, like that. This will be most commonly used on advertisements. And yeah, it slightly sounds a bit formal, so it's not really spoken. I wouldn't hear people speak this, but you would read this often. So if you take a subway in Korea, you are definitely going to see a few advertisements that use this form, 하이시, something something 시, and I'll show you how. So, in addition to being used in the same way as the 때 form, you will also see this used simply after a Sino-Korean noun, all right, SK, meaning it's from 한자, from Chinese originally, Chinese characters, a noun that's from Chinese characters plus 시. This is also a very common way that you'll see this form used. Just a noun followed by 시. If it's used with a verb, it would be with this. But it's very commonly used like this. So let me give you an example of that. Now that I've thoroughly confused you, I think it's time for a new eraser. Don't you guys agree? I think it's time for a new eraser. Okay, let's throw that one away. Let's grab a new one over here in the closet. Okay. There we go. And now this one's dirty and time to get a new one too. Okay, So let me show you an example. This one, I actually got an example from a real website. So this example was not created by me. I got this from a website when I was searching for a good example because this is used in like advertisements. So 모든 세트. So set just means set, as in Korean they say 세트, which is from the English word set, but what it actually means is combo. In English, we would call this a combo, like at a fast food restaurant. Let me get combo number 5. Let me get a combo 3, right? In Korean, they call that set. So they would say number 3 세트, 3번 세트, or whatever the set number would be. So it's called a set in Korean, but it's combo in English. 모든 just means every or all. 모든 is an adjective, so it goes directly before a noun. So 모든 세트, every set. 구매. 구매 means purchase. And this is a Sino-Korean word. So 구매 literally means a purchase. 시, when, or the time when. And then after that, it's kind of funny what you get. Why did I write that wrong twice? I'm thinking too far ahead. Monster ball. So monster ball is monster ball. This is how they say pokeball in Korean. Pokeball. Pokeball, they call it a monster ball. So monster ball, monster ball. So that, the pokeball. No, this thing. Like that. Anyway, so you get, and then you could do like this. There we go. So monster ball, 보조 배터리. 보조 배터리. So battery. This is battery. Let me see if you can see down there. Yes. Okay. 보조 just means assistant or extra. So 보조 battery is actually a formal sounding word for a power bank. External. What do you call that? Rechargeable battery. Those power battery banks things. What do you call those? Power bank. In Korean, they call them power banks too. I'm not sure what we call them in English because I actually didn't get one in America before. What would we call that? External battery? External a cell phone charger? What would you even call that? I actually don't know if I've learned that word. What would you call it in English? Anyway, yeah. 보조 배터리 is like that, is the official word for that type of battery. So power bank. Okay, thanks. I was thinking like maybe power bank. Okay, so 보조 배터리 would be power bank. So literally, every set purchase, when you make each set purchase, or at the time of, literally as just like 때, at the time of purchasing each set. So any set you buy. So if you buy any set, at the time that you buy it, you get, doesn't say you get here, just says Pokeball power bank. So Pokeball power bank with every purchase is what you would translate that in English. Now notice in English, it's not a full sentence. In English, it's like abbreviated. Pokeball, I'll just call it Pokeball. Power bank is too long. Let's say Pokeball with each purchase. So if you were to see an advertisement that said Pokeball with each purchase, you know exactly what it means. It's not a full sentence, right? It just says Pokeball with each purchase. But it means when you buy any purchase, any set menu, any combo purchase, you get a Pokeball. The word get is out. It's not even in here because it's an advertisement. And written Korean will use different grammar just like written English will, especially in advertisements. It's not so necessary to make complete sentences when you're advertising. You don't have to say, you will get a free Pokeball with each combo purchase that you buy. We don't say that in an advertisement in English. It just says free Pokeball with every purchase or something like that, right? It's the same in Korean. So 모든 세트 구매 시, at the time of purchasing each combo, monster ball. It's funny, I can't even say monster ball. It sounds funny saying monster ball. Pokeball, 보조 배터리. So a power bank, a Pokeball power bank. It's a power bank that looks like a Pokeball with every combo purchase. And I swear, if I knew about this promotion, I would have got this. I totally would get a Pokeball power bank. Okay, so that is it for this form. And you'll see she used in advertisements. In fact, kumeshi is one of the most common places that I've seen it used. So you can just memorize this phrase also at or when you purchase. Kumeshi, when you purchase. If you go to the movie theater, you'll see like buy one popcorn, get one free. It'll say like popcorn, kumeshi, umnyo, like umnyo 공짜 or something like that. You know, free, drink free. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the exact word that they probably use for it, but something like that, like buy one, get one free, or buy this, get this, something like that. They often use with kumeshi or any sort of Chinese word like that. So that's pretty much it. And that is all for today's lesson. Did I actually finish on time? I had a lot of example sentences, and I'm very happy I got through all of them today. Most of them were on the first page, though. All right. And yes, I think I'm finished. Whew. Okay. Before I close, though, I want to say, remember that all of these outlines will be posted on the Patreon. So I just got like 5 new Patreon supporters just this last week. And everyone, even the $1 donors, can get access to these outlines. I want those to be for everyone. And these will be posted about an hour. You can find them for every single live class, not just this one. And they sometimes have more examples than what we cover. Today's I actually got through everything. But normally there's like an extra dozen of example sentences that I couldn't cover. Also, if you want updates about live streams, then join up the Discord. There's actually only, I think there's only 4 more classes. Let me check. Let's see. Today is the 24th. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, there's only 3 more. There are only 3 more classes. Okay. There's only 3 more classes, 3 more live streams. Until the end of season 2. And then there will be a break from live streams, these lesson live streams for like 3 months or so. Because I'll have to go to Korea and then come back. And then right when I get back, I'll have to first edit videos before I can do another one. So yeah, only 3 more before the end of this season. I wanted to ask you guys a question. Ahiman, can you help me out with this? I wanted to know, should I keep adding new topics to the live voting as usual? Or should I just leave the current options as is? And that way we teach all of the remaining 3. I guess, do you want me to, A, teach all the rest of the options, in the voting? Or B, keep adding more? By that, I mean, since today's is gone, I'll find a new topic to replace it, and then you guys can just do the vote again. So, Ahiman, could you make a vote for that? Because I'm curious, what do people want? Should I just leave the last ones there and just let you guys vote between those as in which order we'll do? Or could I keep adding more? Which would you like? I'll do what you guys vote for. If I keep adding more, that means some of the options might not be covered for a while, but if we keep adding more, we can keep getting more topics. So maybe next week we could do something that's not on the voting right now. Like I'll add something that people want. Maybe someone would say, oh, hey, Billy, can you teach how to do the conjugation for this form, like can and can't or whatever, or something like that. And then I could put that on the vote. Or should I just keep the last few options and let you guys pick among what's left over? So let me know what you want. Ahimong just started a poll. So check out the poll. Yeah, but definitely I really appreciate you guys coming in today. And we actually finished early. So I'm not going to go on until 4 o'clock. I'm probably going to stop in like 10 minutes or less. I don't mind either. I want to let you guys know, I do not need to, I'm not preferring to teach all the rest or to keep adding more. I really don't care. I'm going to do these classes anyway. So I want to do what you guys want. Whether that means I just finish what's there or I keep adding more. So far, I've always added more, and sometimes you guys suggest more in the Discord. And make sure everyone votes. Ahimong just made a poll. Tiffany K-pop, how to express opinion. Oh, I did a video about that. How to say to think with 같다 and 생각하다. I have a live stream about that you can check out. Yeah, the poll is just if you scroll up. Greetings from Japan. Hello. Ohio. Yeah, scroll up for the poll. Noah Deeps. What about the sentence about watching the movie while early in the lesson? Which sentence? If I were a kid, I'd play all day long. If I were a kid, well, you can do 어린이 is a child, or you can say if I were young. Depends what you mean. Do you really mean if I were a little kid, like really small, not just young? So you can do 어린이, 제가. You can add 만약에 at the beginning. 만약에 제가 어린이, and then past tense of 이다 였으면, if I was a child, or if I was whatever you want to say. If I was Korean, if I was whatever. 제가 어린이였으면, and then you could say all day, 하루 종일. Oops. 하루. 하루 종일. And then 놀 거예요. I will play, or whatever you want to say, or I will eat food all day, or go to the movies all day, or whatever. 놀 거예요. So a lot of the grammar for that is similar to English. Like if I was, you use was, past tense. Not if I am. Okay, Ahimang, post the results of the poll. Teach all the rest of the options wins. But it was close. And I'm sure if I put this as a vote on the community tab, maybe we'll get the same result, maybe different. Anyway, I think it'd probably be the same result though. So I'm going to finish teaching all the rest of the options then. I will not add any new options for this season. And then season 3 will have all new options when we start. So I'll just finish teaching the rest of the options, unless there's a problem with any of them. Would it be, let's see, Park Jae-soo. So Billy, would it be good to think of day as a way of saying during, even though it still means when that time? It does not mean during. There is actually a different way to say during. But if it's between thinking of it as meaning when or during, then yeah, think of it as during. There's normally a different way of saying during though. If you mean while something is happening, there's a completely different form that you use for that, which actually talks about while something is going on during that time. So 때 does not mean during in that sense. But if you want to kind of translate in your head to help tell you the difference between 면 and 때, then yeah, that's okay to think of it that way. Oh, 더라고요. Tiffany K-pop. 더라고요. 더라고. Yeah, that's used for things that you have personally heard or personally experienced. But it's not 더, it's just 더. 더라고요. 더라고요, 더라고요, like that. But I'm not going to go over that today. Just answering a quick question. So that would be another form. Yeah, that's right. Ahimang, 동안 would be one of them. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. Remember, I think the Oscars start today in like a few hours. Although I'm not sure if I'm going to watch them. There's no host this year. Thanks for coming, everyone. I really appreciate it. And remember to vote on Tuesday. You can choose what the last options will be. There's only 3 more classes before we stop season 2, and then I'm going to go to Korea. to film some new videos. Join the Discord if you have any questions. Join Patreon if you want to see the outlines for these lessons. I will see you guys again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. Again, thank you to my donors, Shubin, Carol Lintner, Nunya Business, and Lynn Barsh. Sorry, I mean Barsh. Barch, not Barsh. Barch. Fight me with your voice? Totally gonna lose, Ivan. Bring it on. Bring it on.